Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and the governor's March 15th order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Southborough Stewardship Meeting will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with the right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Southborough's website. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch or participate in the meeting may do so in the following manner by finding the meeting at the Southborough website where meetings are posted. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on Southborough's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. So it is now 6:35 and I'm calling the meeting to order. We have quorum here tonight. And the first item of business is approving the minutes. So thank you, Jim, for sending them out to us. Did anyone have any edits or corrections?
There was one mention or a question mark, I think, Jim.
Oh, yes. Yes.
That maybe someone could fill in the blanks. I wasn't sure the answer to that one.
Yeah,
On
this
that
is,
grant thing?
yeah, this is for Freddie. So the new invasive plant species, the creeping buttercup, the rapid removal list, whose rapid removal list is that?
So that's actually an EDRR, and it's early detection, rapid response.
Okay.
It's like Ghostbusters come out and get it.
Yeah.
It's on the Suasco SISMA. I'm not sure if the state listed that way also, but at least the regional watershed cooperative invasive species management area, that's the SISMA,
Okay. Okay.
has it listed that.
I
Did
will.
we, just a question, when it says posting conservation land rules, did we want to mention that there had been rocket use on the property? Not just that we were making that rule up?
Yeah, that's
Or
probably
not.
a really good idea. It gives a little more context. Can we add that, Jim?
Yeah, we can. Let me just. I'll just add model rocket use has been observed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then under community garden,
Yep.
the last line, it's not up to us to get more organic matter. So that should say we're aware they need, or we've heard. It's not up to us to put, like, we're not getting more organic matter in there.
Okay.
How would you phrase that for an edit? It's been noted that more organic matter is needed in the garden soil.
That sounds good. I'll put
Got
that
an
down.
edit for
Yep.
everyone?
Yeah.
On just a typo on other business in the
Okay.
back, it says
Yep.
need for interruptive signage.
Whoops. That's that silly spell check thing. I'll change that. Interpretive.
Anything else?
It's a little bit petty, but never mind. It's okay the way it is. Never mind. I make a motion to approve the minutes from November 30th, 2020 as edited.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Jenny seconds. All in favor? Jim?
Yes, in favor?
Jenny?
I'm in favor.
Kat?
You're muted, Kat.
Yes, yes, I'm in favor.
Freddie?
Freddie's in favor.
I'm also in favor. The motion passes. So the next item of business was about posting the rules and signs, and we obviously talked about that last time and had a little bit of back and forth on some discussion then at the meeting, and there are now signs posted. Thank you, Kat, for finalizing those signs and getting them up so quickly. And there is the one with the rules has the special kind of code in it. And Melissa, were you able to get those posted to the website?
Yep, those are on the stewardship page.
So that's wonderful. So now we have that posted, and that final listing included not just the rockets that we've observed, but as we have discussed over time at our meetings, drone usage and ATVs, things like that. So, and no campfires. So that came out pretty good. And then also we had someone approach me about a reminder sign for masks, having observed people on the trails without masks. And so that Kat also made some signs for that and got those out there. So those are all up. I guess I was really surprised that just the Massachusetts COVID site doesn't have a downloadable, per the order of the governor, masks required sign that we could have just downloaded in, a variety of formats and printed at home. But
Yeah. So to clarify for the record, Joyce designed the signs. Thank you, Joyce. You did all the work. And I used my new laminator.
Yeah, so that's
Thank you,
not
Jen,
quite
for
all the
allowing me
work.
that.
not quite, because I didn't know how to do the QR thing, and then you printed and actually posted them, and now they're also on our website. So it just feels like that is a good progress. So cheers all around that we got that done. And I think last time at our last meeting, we had talked about maybe sending a version of that to the mask sign to Mark Purple for other committees to use that have space. Is that?
Yeah, it should be at all the playgrounds.
I put it
Not
up.
up to us, but
Am I on you? So there's at the Fayetteville playground, there's now a trailhead kiosk, a map kiosk. So I put it there. But I think there is, to your point, Freddie, if you go down the stairs, I think there is a sign already there at the Fayetteville playground. But I mean, I'm not, and we did all the other trailheads, but I didn't go around all the playgrounds. And so
it should be, we should send it to Mark Purple and suggest they might want to send it to Rec and the selectmen. And on our list, can we put this on for another agenda or to be added to the list? Are we going to be adding to review the list of what's the list? What's allowed? Because I don't know that parking in designated spots only is on there, but it should be.
Yeah, it isn't. I would say what we settled on from our discussion last time isn't the comprehensive
So-
sort of.
So I'm saying,
Stay
should
on
that
the
be on
trail,
another?
like stay on trails only, don't pick flowers. Like it's not a comprehensive, it's the high points where we've observed difficulties.
Well,
It doesn't say don't leave dog litter. It doesn't.
so you
So,
just listed like 3 high critical points. So I'm just saying it should be at least on the CR code list.
oh, that's a good idea.
So
So
that's not, it's not overwhelming what we want people to see right now, but it's on the list if you go with a QR code. So we don't run into people saying, well, it's not on your list. I can do it. I can drive up and around the whole property if I want,
right.
as someone did this fall.
Yes, it does say no. Yeah, that was in a car. I didn't think to say no cars. I put like no,
I think
forget.
parking in designated spots only covers that,
Yeah,
or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I mean, that was just,
I'll take a look
No
at
use
that.
of motor vehicles on the property?
what?
No use of motor vehicles on the property?
Right.
That-
Maybe we should all take a look at what's written there and then have another agenda item to
Yeah.
go through it methodically and
Yeah.
update it.
No, you can't see my phone. So the very first thing you see is no motorized vehicles, to your point, Jenny. Is that what
Oh.
you're referring to? But yeah, the sign, it's big, and at the trailhead kiosk, it's big.
Yeah, that was our first big problem when I put that sign up. So I made sure it was big.
What cars driving around?
Yes.
It's, yeah, this wasn't the first time that's happened. Harley, get over here.
Yeah, I think it's
Maybe we just go through it again at another meeting.
yeah. For our January meeting, I'll say revisit rules for the town website, and then
Yeah, I'm actually on the town website now, the Breakneck Hill, and maybe we could have a page along the left side navigation that said, permitted uses, and have it listed a whole page of permitted uses and then the restricted uses, if you wanted to do something like that.
that's a good idea. Yeah, things that are prohibited, things that are permitted, so that it isn't all just the no. Hey, you can walk, you can picnic, you can jog.
And
Great.
take pictures.
Take pictures, bird,
Snowshoe, cross country.
Yep.
snowshoe. Right. All right. Anything else on posting signs? So it feels good to get that done. I think the no spray signs got pulled as well by Jenny, right?
Well, mostly by Jim. That was before the last meeting, though.
Yeah. Okay. I thought, yeah, it was ringing a bell right when I was saying it.
But
All right.
they're
So
living in my shed now, so they're stored for the winter.
great. Thank
Thank
you. Updates on mowing decisions from the site walk. So we did have a site walk last week that some of us were able to attend, and we were able to flag a couple of things of concern, like the Baptisia tinctoria, which even this late in the season, we were able to recognize because of the seeds on it. So that was a big win for us. We were excited to be able to flag that, protect it for another round. We made sure the pussy willow flags was still visible, and also some rows on the back side. I can't remember what else we flagged.
Oh, it is.
Does anyone else remember?
Mhm.
And then
Designated the section not to mow.
and we designated the section not to mow, which I don't have the map in front of me. Freddie, I'm going to say it, and you and Kat can correct me if I get it wrong. It's sort of going to traverse half of E and F down towards the grasslands, the bottom half of those two fields.
F and G.
F and G. Oh,
That almost sounded like a.
I
The southern portion,
know. The southern portion of F and G.
and we may add, after we made that determination, we may add some of the southern portion of E because it's becoming honeysuckle, invasive honeysuckle row.
Right, and then there was a portion per Dr. Jagir in the North Pasture, I thought also.
So what happened is just, sorry, Harley.
So actually, Jim isn't here to record this, so I just want to make sure we get it. He had to take a phone call, so
Why don't we come back to that so we can accurately.
yeah, because it's really super important that we record that well, having gone back through minutes sometimes to look at what we did each year. Was there anything else, any other decisions from the site walk? Oh no, Jim is back. Jim, we wanted to make sure that you got this for the minutes
Okay.
from our walk. So it is the southern portion of fields F and G that will not be mowed, all the way up to abutting the grasslands. And
Okay.
we did mark that with ribbon. And then possibly also a portion of E where the honeysuckle is quite bad. And
Wait, we would not be mowing them?
I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, no, because I'm sorry, I said that, and that's totally wrong. You're
Yeah,
right, Jen. We thought it was in the no mow, but then it was actually in the mowed area. But
Oh, okay, so it's not in that area. So we might add E, but the honeysuckle is not in that area. Okay.
Right.
let me rephrase. We're going to have an expert advice on if we're going to treat the honeysuckle, is it better to mow it or not mow it?
Okay.
Because it's slated to be mowed, but sometimes you want more leaf area if you're going to have to treat it in some other way.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes,
But it is in E.
In E.
it is
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Yes.
Southern end of E has a large population of the invasive honeysuckle.
Right. So
And that was a
no
section that didn't get
mow-
mowed last year. And this is what is a common occurrence now that we don't mow some sections. Those sections get heavier invasive pressure. It's always a trade-off.
Right. So, but definitely we decided the southern portions of field F and field G, kind of a straight line across them, will not get mowed. And also with Dr. Jagir.
So can I say this one? Because it got complicated as we went on. So as we were leaving, Dr. Jagir walked up to take a look at potential nesting sites for Bombus fervidus. And we came up with a section of the north pasture that we're not going to mow so that, and I wanted to go over this with you guys a little bit after our talk. What he would like is the area not mowed to be a smaller size so that it sort of funnels the fervidus to choose that area to use for nesting. And we picked 4 locations for that to occur by the end of the day. One was in the north pasture, and the other 3 are based on me talking to the person doing the mow. One is in, where we have the apple trees going to be a grove over beside the farm pond. That's a little grassy area in the middle there, a little section there. Also in the front roadside pasture going down towards the mimulus, the rows of the swamp rose shrub, sort of somewhat adjacent towards the parking lot at the trailhead in that area. And then if you're looking from the road up towards the grassland area, where we put the trail in and then it comes down the sledding hill down to the wetlands, one section there. So each of these sections, I think he wanted to be like, did he say like 20 feet wide and 60 feet long? So
Was
what
it
I'm,
40, 60? I
yeah,
got it
so
right here.
what I thought I would do, if I'm working with
26.
the Mo guy, to say, this area, don't be that precise. And then once they're done mowing the whole place and in the spring, we can, early spring or something, we could come back and be like, if it needed to be more precise, we could do it later.
Okay.
Because right now we're faced with, we got to get it mowed. And what do we have? A foot of snow out there. And then after the snow, it's going to be pretty wet. But last year, at least a third of it didn't get mowed until March. Was that when we were out there? Do you remember, Jim?
It was around then. It was pretty unusual spring.
So it was a pretty unusual mow, but it still seemed to have worked. So not ideal, but you know, as long as we get it done before the grassland birds are, well, we don't even have to really worry about the grassland birds because we're not mowing in the grasslands, but you don't want the spring animals showing up and being mowing. So
Right. So pretty successful site walk where we were able to flag things, make those decisions, run into, and Dr. Jagir was there. So,
can I make one other comment? For a future agenda item to revisit again. When we were on the site walk, we met in the community garden parking lot, and we did take notice of the, and thank you, Jim, for protecting the ecology garden area. But we, you know, to revisit what a permanent solution there. And we did notice, even with that tape there, someone had picked up a big rock and put it on top of a, you know, a shrub.
yeah.
So threw it on top to damage a planting. And it looked pretty malicious because why else would that have happened? And it wasn't just an easy rock. It wasn't the biggest heavy ones, but it wasn't an easy rock to pick up and put there while not taking down this, you know, it was purposefully done.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I imagine, I don't know how else it got there.
yeah, I was glad we spent some time on that because it always helps to be looking at it to help us visualize what some of the solutions might be. So right now for an upcoming meeting, I have revisiting the rules and then brainstorming better solutions for that parking problem.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anything else on the mow? The site walk?
On the site walk, I did mention that did I mention this at the last meeting? I don't think. At the meadow, we're going to postpone seeding until the spring. We had wanted a fall seeding, but the soil really wasn't quite ready. And we can accomplish the same thing by doing a combination of seeding and fall plugs.
Right.
The
Okay.
ecology research meadow. And we pointed that out at the walk. So that was part of the site walk
Right.
notice.
Thank you, Freddie. Next item is grants. So there was two that we did apply for. Any word on the Mass Wildlife?
I just sent another email. I double checked. I hadn't heard anything yet. And I sent another email to the head of Mass Wildlife. The applications were due October 16th, and we were told we'd be notified in, I thought, early December. And haven't heard anything. It's not posted. And the other grant, still not finished, is for the Suasco SISMA small grant.
And that's the Buttercup one?
Yeah.
All right, anything that you need from us on that one?
No, I need something from, like, as Kat is well aware how difficult it can be to get quotes. So I'm waiting on some quotes and we'll see if we get them.
Okay, and the RFP is the last item on the agenda, which this would be for the tree work. And we need to get started on that. And this, if we get the Mass Wildlife Grant, would be paid that way.
Right. So the timing constraint here is you want to get the work done in the winter. And I don't think you want to start the work until you get announced if you got the grant, because I think we can do the RFP, but I don't think we want to put shovel to the ground until we get notified, because I don't think they reimburse work that you've already started.
Before they've, yeah.
So we want to be ready to start the tree work as soon as if miracle of miracles we got the grant, we would start that day if we were ready. So let's be ready. And the way the weather is, the goal of doing it in the winter, one of the main things is for frozen soil, so we're not disturbing. Is that right, Jim? You want to do it when the ground's solid frozen.
That's the easiest way to do it, yeah.
So and we actually as a committee might have some decisions. What are we doing with the debris they cut? We never decided that.
Is it not in some older minutes that I thought it would be mostly hauled away?
That's
Because
what
we've chosen snags to stay there.
Would we get Twin Pines to help us, or DPW? Did we? I don't remember if we
So
decided.
No,
this
this
would
is
be in the RFP. So it's
the RFP. Let's go
whoever.
back and look. I was just off the trying to keep everything in your head gets challenging. My recollection is the cost to remove everything made the project
Too expensive.
out of our price range and became I'll have to look at some old documents. They were talking about creating brush piles and having bonfires or moving it to the side. And maybe I'm confusing that with doing the clear cut of the, not the clear cut, the dethatching. Remember we wanted to dethatch the grasslands?
Right,
And moving
right.
that debris became, and I said, well, when you think about grasses being moved off, like what's the big deal? It was like a football field or something crazy pile high of that. So let me double check.
I thought that was one of the reasons when we had maybe had some sort of verbal estimates in the past that they were high was because of hauling stuff away, because we selected certain snags and trees we wanted to stay for wildlife habitat, but we didn't want every one that comes down to be that,
Right.
because then you never be able to mow anything.
Another thing is it's often talked about putting logs along the trail edges because as they decay, they create habitat. Of course, they also create barriers to mowing for invasives to come in, but I think we can decide that when they're cutting if we want to save some or have some brush piles.
Yeah, I think it works nice on the woodland trails more so than on the trails in the through the meadows.
Yeah. All right. I'll check in with, so
do we have a model RFP that we've used before from when we did the
no documentation that I can find.
Well, remember we said that it didn't have to be a full RFP, right? But I don't know if there's still like a standard template or something.
But let me double check again, because I was talking with someone else at the townhouse regarding the differences of the bid proposals as we were talking about last time, and that the services are what fall under that threshold of you just need the 3 quotes, but this, like, in a service is like creating a plan and something that's not like physical work.
Labor.
So I think this might follow under that bid process, which then unfortunately kind of kicks it into the prevailing wage aspect. But let me double check again with the town administrator.
Someone have that hot poker ready for me?
Well, I think we worked the prevailing wage into the Mass Wildlife Grant. So that's kind of already there. So we kind of know what the rough prices would be for those, I believe. And then, so I'll check with the town administrator's office again, just to kind of make sure that we're going about this the right way. And I'll try and find some good examples for tree work that I'm sure the DPW has to.
That would be great, because I feel like I'd be more helpful if I had an example.
Yeah, so I'll talk to both the in-town house, but also talk to Karen at the DPW to see what her thoughts are.
And for this tree work, can it be someone like Twin Pines, like that we just tell them which trees we want removed? Or does it have to be somebody more skilled, like the arborist, or is he just like, kind of, what's the word? Managing the project for the day, or, you
So,
know what I mean?
so how this works is Twin Pines is skilled in tree removal. We've used them before.
Yeah,
They respond to the RFP that we create,
mhm,
and we created by choosing which trees to take out.
right,
So there's no RFP requirement that you have someone more qualified. Like, this isn't street trees. These are dead, dying apple trees, you know,
right.
and we have the ability to say all of them need to come out or not. I mean, in this case, we are the experts on which ones stay and which ones go, and they're the experts on doing the work.
Right, so it's
And
not
we
a
have
specialized
consulted-
skill for the responder to the RFP.
Yeah, so if you're talking about like the difference between like a landscaping company, which Pines might more fall under, versus like a specific tree removal company, that's where kind of Freddie, what she was talking about comes in, that yes, we are at the end of the day, the project managers, and and the reality is, yes, you're just flagging a tree and telling them to get it out. So, as long as they meet the minimum qualifications that is put in the bid proposal, then you can pick the lowest bidder, which might be a landscaping company versus a tree company, as long as they have the right skills to do that.
And we also write the RFP to meet our needs, because you don't have to. This was something that has been problematic in the past. You don't have to pick the lowest bidder if the RFP is written to allow you to choose for certain qualifications. Like, we did one where it was illegal, it needed legal review, and the lowest bidder had no lawyer on the staff, and it was like, no, we're not choosing that one. And then afterwards, they wanted to know why they didn't get it, because they were the lowest bidder. It was like, well, it was a legal review, and you had no legal review in your response. Yeah. So, I mean, we want the best job done for the best price.
Right.
We want the best price with not a good job.
Right. And the best job isn't always the lowest price.
Right. But we don't pick and choose. We don't go into it with a predetermined who's going to get it.
Right, yep, thanks for explaining it again.
Sorry if that's too much.
Yeah, no, I like it. The detail's good.
And once we have the RFP written, like, how does it get out there? Do we send it out? it get posted on the website? Like what happens?
So there are specific legal requirements that it has to be posted on, and then there's kind of a Massachusetts, what they call the combis bid for the state that it gets posted on as well. So, usually goes to the town administrator's office in the sense that it's released. I think it also has to be posted in a certain number of like town public places. And then it kind of gets distributed to the typical, I guess, lists that I think a lot more companies are aware of than kind of those who are thinking like you guys committees, of needing them. So a lot of the people that you would want to be submitting bids already are on the distribution list for the combis site. So it gets out there, and if anyone's interested, then, they'll submit. There's always the chance that it won't, that maybe you don't get quotes, but especially if you guys have contacts that you've worked with before, just kind of letting them know that, hey, this is out there.
So we're allowed to do that.
We're not allowed to, I don't believe we send them the bid,
Correct.
but we let them know you can let them know it's been published.
Once it's posted. And how long does it stay posted? And then how long do they have to reply? We
Is it-
specify that?
Yeah, I think it has a legal requirement for the amount of days. I think it might be 14.
And it
or
depends
a
if this
little
is
bit
at the
longer.
dollar amount, is that correct?
Right.
So if it's over that 10,000, so because this is a physical service, not like a plan, or something that they don't need to come onto site necessarily to do, then it
Yeah.
does need that official bid process.
One of the problems I had was I had asked before what the prevailing wage is, and I was told, who knows? I mean, it was a very, it depends on the project. Like, how do we, if there's not a list for that service that we can look at ahead of time, how do we know? And I'm not confident that we knew about prevailing wage for the quotes we got for the Mass Wildlife.
Isn't it listed by the state? The state determines those wages, and that must be listed somewhere.
Correct.
Yeah, I think, Freddie, we were looking at that site that I think you have to request it for
Yeah, you
your
have to
area.
request, so it's not just go look at a list.
Oh, you have to specifically request.
Nothing's easy with the state.
Well,
Like
'Cause
you
I
would
also-
think the tree cutting prevailing wage, arborist.
It's also kind of specific to the area, and that something in Boston might go for more than, something out in the Berkshires.
Like we found out for one problem with NRCS, they have a standard cost share price. And when they fund you, it's always based on the farmer coming over and haying, and we don't have a farmer to come next door and drive his tractor over, and it costs like 10 times as much out here.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a good thing in that way, right? That getting work done in some areas is way more expensive.
Well, I guess I'm just thinking backwards, like to get this work done in the winter and we need a couple weeks for it to be out there, we just need to do it as soon as possible. So it is a little bit of a tough time as people are taking leave for the holidays and stuff. But Melissa, anything you can get as examples of good ones would be great.
Well, actually, I don't know that we need an example. We just need to write one up, start drafting it. I could be wrong, but I think just Melissa, what are you doing on Christmas Eve?
No, I'm sure.
That's a joke.
Yeah, no, I know.
No,
No, I'm sure the the DPW has to have something similar, or if not, just getting the general format that I could get very quickly.
Can you help that? Can you help us with that?
Yes, yeah. So I'll talk to Karen tomorrow and see what the best way to go about this might be.
Can you share that?
The good news is these aren't big trees, but they have the metal constraint, which we have to acknowledge.
Mhm.
right.
The
The mesh, like
The
that
mesh stuff that-
stuff.
although I heard from somebody else that it wasn't as big a deal as somebody else said it was.
Well, they're starting to get old. They're starting to fall apart. So it's not as big a deal as it used to be.
But I cut my hands up trying to get that out of
Yeah.
the dirt afterwards. I mean, that stuff was strong. So, all right.
All right.
So we'll work on that.
Yep.
Just to say we can also start to work on, Melissa, the orchardist. He's under 10. I think we can do that under 5,000. Is that a cutoff? Is 5,000 a cutoff?
I want to say 10, but let me double check and make sure that's.
Well,
the
if it's 10, he's
I'll report
definitely under
back.
10, and if it's 5, we can make it under 5.
Okay, yeah, I guess when I email you guys, I'll do it in piecemeal, as I get things to get at least the bid docs to you earlier. And then I will,
Does anyone also want to raise their hand to work on the RFP together?
I'm
Can't do
happy.
that.
I'll help.
I don't
Pardon?
think you can do that.
What?
Melissa's working on it,
Oh,
and we'll talk to her later. Joyce, you talk to her later.
okay. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on the trail names. So Freddie had suggested that she had a good idea about maybe asking people to walk through the forest, get a sense of the trails, to make a suggestion for trail names. And I like that idea. So the more I think about it, and it's counterintuitive to my request to have it done sooner versus later because of the mapping that's going on, but things can be updated eventually. So what I would suggest is that we postpone the naming until the spring and use that as perhaps when green starts popping and the trees are blooming again, that we use that as an opportunity to get people out there if the committee's open to just postponing that initiative until the spring.
And it could be a little promotion and a little article about it or something to get people out. Yeah, I think that's a nice idea.
So thank you for that idea. And
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize if I was a little forceful on that. I hadn't realized your time constraint. I just think it's more fun to,
it's
of course, we
engaging.
already know what some of the road names will be, right?
Well, I was hoping Huckleberry would be one of them.
No, what was the God Rock one I had?
I
We're all going to have to go out there on that day in that light and see that rock explode.
thought it was looked like a pig flying or something.
Well, that was same day, but that was a log,
Oh,
decaying log. No, there was a rock that I kind of got like, I don't know, it felt like it was a little scary. Have you ever seen a burning rock? A rock just on fire all of a sudden, like it was God coming down, like.
oh, geez.
And it was
Sometimes, yeah, the sun will come through the forest and just hit that spot in just that one way, and it is pretty powerful to witness that. So
it was a flat rock that was like pinkish. I don't know. It just hit it, and it just. I actually walked into to see what was going on, a little scared, like I might be beamed up any minute, but.
I had mentioned last time that I had planned for a next meeting where we would focus on Melissa's draft plan. And I just decided with the RFP and the other things that maybe we start that discussion a little more heavily after the new year. So that is also queued up. So she had shared that last time. Thank you, Melissa. So we haven't forgotten you, and obviously that's important to us. So we'll queue that up for a future meeting as well.
take your time, it's crazy, so.
Any other business that we need to attend to? I can share, we did get some space inside the shed. Isabel's, the community gardens shed, so that was good.
I don't know if this is like a crazy idea, but I don't know if you guys know that there was a Boy Scout that had come before the Conservation Commission, I guess multiple times, and he was trying to work with SALT to put in a like a boardwalk, and I don't know, and maybe a trail in one of their properties, and there was a lot of pushback from the neighbors. I have heard that, he did an impressive, job trying to present and everything under, trying circumstances. And I don't know if it would be worth trying to get in touch with him. Like, I assume Melissa has his contact information, and to see if he might be interested in doing some work with us, like maybe the signage that we were talking about, or I don't know if that's how Freddie feels about that.
I say, I wasn't aware he had withdrawn his proposal. Is that a fact?
Yeah, I didn't either.
I don't know if he's
No, he
withdrawn.
hasn't.
Maybe Melissa knows better.
I wouldn't approach him till that project is over, but
Until
I
it's
like
definitely
your,
over.
I like your thinking. I think it would be well-intentioned, but inappropriate.
Okay. Yeah, and I also don't know if Solf would feel like we are poaching
Yeah.
someone.
Let them have, but you know what we can do?
If Melissa finds out that they have withdrawn.
I had no indication that they were withdrawing.
I didn't either.
No, yeah, no, I don't know that either. I just know that they didn't come to the last meeting. But I'm
Yeah.
saying if in the future, like Melissa were to find out that they had withdrawn.
I would have Joyce reach out to the South Gropen Land Foundation and let them know we'd be willing to work with them if they didn't have another project for him,
Mm-hmm.
so that he feels valued, but not
Poach.
Saul feels we're poaching.
Yeah.
This
Because
is,
of all the Boy Scouts you've ever seen, that's one you want to have doing your project, that's for sure.
so we don't know if his project is approved yet by Solve.
No, so it hasn't been approved by the Concom.
Oh.
So this is Robbie's project that I believe he went to Solve asking to create, I don't know if it was this trail specifically or something different. And he's submitted the notice of intent to the Concom. He is not withdrawn. He's still moving forward with us at this point. The commission had asked him to get a more official plot plan. So I think that's kind of holding him up. And, at this point, it kind of has been asked of him if he has been considering other projects. I don't know if he has, or if he's considering of withdrawing this. I would agree that he has done an amazing job in presenting and discussing with neighbors and plan preparation. So if he were to do, work for you, he seems very thorough and knowledgeable on that aspect. But I would think, I agree with Freddie and Joyce reaching out to Solf. I think that's a perfect way to approach that. And if I do hear anything from that Eagle Scout in the meantime, I'll be happy to let you guys know.
Yeah, I was hoping it was going to go through, but
Yeah, I know he was also just double checking with different departments and making sure there weren't any other necessities. The
it was
planning
at the
board.
planning board last time, I think.
Okay, yeah, he was discussing because originally there was no parking proposed, and then there was a parking lot, and additional parking requires site plan approval. So it might be that this project changes into maybe just, whether it's invasive management or it does something completely different. So I think there's still time for him to kind of change his scope or change completely projects. So I'll keep you posted on that aspect, but reaching out to Solf in the meantime may be a nice way to transition him from one group to another.
But you
So-
still think, but I definitely don't have any intention of stirring the pot. So you think that he is still intending to proceed with his project in some form?
As far as, I don't know about that project in particular. I know that's one of the variations that have been thrown out there, because his project was some invasive removal, creation of this kind of straight gravel trail, and then the viewing platform at the end. And based on the site conditions of the site, I think the consideration was if just the invasive removal could be enough for the Eagle Scout project, just because of the sheer volume and area. So I don't think there's been any decision. Last I talked to him after the last meeting, it seemed like he was still working with Solf to figure out which way to move forward. So I don't know if they've had that internal conversation yet.
But the Concom hasn't denied any permitting, have they?
Nope,
Yep.
It's still an open public hearing as of right now.
that's just why I said, Jenny, till something's decided, you don't go in and say,
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, yeah, I guess I was just kind of like raising it as something for us to be aware of, but it sounds like it might be too early to approach anybody.
Yeah, that's sort of my feeling. That if he's
I would-
still
I
working
would
Solve
say
and with
it-
Concom, it might seem premature for me to go to Solve and say, hey, you're not, we got projects.
I don't know if it would necessarily be premature based on how long this has gone on. It might just be a series of, it's been several months that, it's been in front of the commission. It might just be time. And it's kind of been the same thing that they've been requested of that hasn't been submitted yet. So I don't know if they're trying to maybe push it off to see if it's possible, and in the meantime, they have maybe an option that could be better from him. I don't think he would be against that.
and on another note, I'm aware Salt might be starting some other projects that I'm not sure if they'd be of interest, but might be Eagle Scout projects as well.
And what project would we queue up for him? I know we had a pretty decent list for town forest, given that the last one or two Eagle Scouts have been at Breakneck.
Yeah, they could build some board there. Crossing, a couple crossings. There's a little mini bridge here and there.
Yeah, I think there's some trails and boardwalks and parking lots adjacent to neighbors that need to be done.
Yeah, I mean, we always seem to have a decent list. I feel like in the last year, we've kind of queued up in particular some of the town forest stuff, so I don't want to lose track of that. All right, so we're saying that I should reach out to Solve now? Is that the consensus?
I think it's early.
Who just whispered it's early?
I think it's
Go ahead, Freddie. What were you thinking?
how's this? I don't think we should officially reach out to them, but I'm having unofficial conversations with them. They've just agreed to partner with the Open Space Preservation Commission on our pollination pathways project, and I have to ask them it would be an unofficial ask.
So you'll have an unofficial ask on a recorded meeting.
Unrecorded meeting.
Okay.
Oh, right now on our recorded meeting? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we're just trying to handle it.
We're just trying to,
No, it's perfectly stated. I understand where we're.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
there's a difference between me and conversation saying, hey, what's going on, from the proper ways for our chair to talk to their president.
And
don't know.
I'll also add, and I usually, and especially because the holiday, I'm going to be sending out my kind of pre-reminder for our meeting, the Concom meeting this week. So if I hear anything back from Robbie, Joyce, I'll let you know if it seems like there's a chance that he might be changing projects.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other business appropriately before our committee?
Yes. That everyone have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, any holiday. I guess any holiday's not good, but happy holidays.
Happy
Yes,
holidays.
happy
to
holidays,
you, everybody. Yeah, 2020 really knocked our socks off. So hope we all get new socks for Christmas.
Socks already. It's great.
And a special thank you to Melissa, who's been really helpful to us this year.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you,
guys.
Melissa.
And for doing all of those remote meetings. Oh my God.
Yeah, and for working on Christmas and Christmas Eve on our RFP. That's great.
Yeah, sure will. Absolutely.
In your new socks.
Yeah, I did buy myself alpaca socks, so I do
Alpaca
have new
socks.
They're very warm. They're especially good during snowstorms when I'm out there snow blowing because my husband's foot is still broken.
Oh no.
Oh.
How's your ankle?
Mine's doing pretty good. Yep. I'm almost there. He's not quite there.
Gee. See, It's been a bad year, 2020. So new socks for everybody, healthy, happy holidays, and we
And
will-
everyone stay home and wear your mask,
that's
right? But have a good time.
Thank you, everyone.
We need to adjourn. Should I move to
Yeah.
adjourn?
Oh yeah, I forgot. I always forget that part.
I always forget my own.
Make a motion to adjourn this
Second.
meeting.
My second.
All in favor? Jim, Jenny,
In favor?
Yes, in favor.
Kat, Freddie, yes, yes.
I'm in favor. I'm in